Awesome stuff. Good afternoon, guys. So Bitcoin has crashed yesterday. The people are losing their minds, and we traded it. So I'm going to share some thoughts today on what I believe is going to happen. We can see here we've dropped all the way down to 106.2K on Bitcoin. But don't worry, we've always got a plan. What was exciting about yesterday was the fact that we were on a coaching call live and we was trading live, which was pretty awesome, to be honest. So we had the old team on, the coaches, myself, and we were trading quite a few coins live: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Teo as well, which was pretty cool. So let's get to the charts. This is not financial advice. Everything that I'm going to be teaching on today, all it is me giving my opinion on what I see in the marketplace. So let's go. So as you can see on Bitcoin here, let's get rid of all of this TA completely, and let me show you what we were looking at and what we're looking at moving forward. So we've came down to claim this liquidity here, which is exactly what we've done. We've got some significant lows here. We've come down, we've reclaimed them. All the way down here, we've also got a bit of liquidity here. And I'll go into what all that's about in a second as we move forward into this YouTube live on what's going on. Let me just add those into there. Awesome. So, right. So, let's get the Platinum channel back up. What we could see here, we could see this little bit of liquidity here just under the 786. Just under the 786 here. We were hoping to come down and claim that. But what I can see what the market makers doing at the moment is building liquidity. So they've brought the price down to the 786, which was perfect to the dollar. But what I kind of see a little bit is unfinished business just here. Just here. You can see that line just there. That to me is unfinished business because we've left that little bit of liquidity. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to come anytime soon for that, but I'm going to give you some levels on Bitcoin and what I believe is going to happen, and then you can make your own mind up from there. So as we can see, we've got this range, this volume profile range here, and whenever we lose the value area low, this is a sign of weakness for me, sign of weakness. So we've come below this value area low, and I thought that's fine because I knew we were going to reclaim it at some point. What you can see, this is the 70% value of this particular asset, and you can see here the volume nodes start to disappear. The volume starts to massively decrease just here, which tells us that when we do move below this value area low here to come and collect this liquidity here, 9 times out of 10 we're going to come back into the range, which was what we've seen here. We lost it slightly on Bitcoin here last night. Look, just here, we came back in the lower term time frame. Let's have a look on the 15-minute. We came back in. There we go. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Makes the point all over, to be fair. The same thing happened on a couple of the other coins as well, Ethereum being one of them. So we came below the value area low here. And as we can see, we've come back into the value area low, reclaimed it, and now we're making our way up. So to be honest, locally, this is a sign of strength. Reclaiming this value area low is a sign of strength for me. So we can see here. You can see here we've reclaimed it, which is good. So I'm going to give you some levels as well on Bitcoin here that I think we're going to come down to. Let's go back on the 4-hour chart. So temporarily, we've had a bit of a relief rally. But for me, levels that I'm interested in are here. I want that level to be taken again. That level there at 106. Well, 106K. 106K, we've got this liquidity here just above it, but I want that low taken along with these lows. Just to fall. I'll probably want a nice wick through on the 786 here. That's what I want to see. Lots of aggressive selling, people shorting into here, trapping some traders here and turning the price round. We didn't really get that. We've left unfinished business on the table. So for me, the next move, if we fall lower than that, is to collect this liquidity down at 103,500. 103,500 around that mark there. And then, of course, what we have got is a couple of naked points of controls and this wick, this big dirty wick down here. So we've actually got, as a community, we've actually got some levels that we're interested in just here. Let me have a look. Here we go. So we had 108. That gave us a nice bounce. This is one of the trade setups that we put out for the community. Obviously, we've come into here. We've hit TP1. That's a nice level, 108,750 to 105,550. So 80% of the master zone we came up, which is nice. So that's the first. Second zone is here. So I'm going to show. I've shown you on the charts, but this is actually the trades that we've put out here, and you can see here. This is other areas that we're interested in charting as well, trading this bit here, and then we'll move on to a few altcoins as well. So you can see this down here, significant low SFP. I'm expecting on that down to this level. Take that, happy days. And then of course below that, we've got the 100k mark in and around here, which is, you know, anywhere from 102 to 99k. So that area just there, just to take it. We have actually got, I believe, I don't know if it's on the trading view charts or whether it's on my XO. Yeah, it's on the XO. It's not showing up on here, but on XO charts, the order flow software that we use, we can see we've got a naked point of control down here on the daily. Have we got any daily levels down there as well? I know we've got a significant level down there. Let's have a look. Did we take it? Let's have a look. That's it. That's the one. I knew we did. So we can see here we've got daily horizontal support here. Yeah, slightly front run it. Look, you can see there, slightly front run it. So we've got a daily down there, and we've also got a daily point of control as well. So lots of support down below. I don't believe this is the end. I'm going to give you some scenarios of what I believe a sign of strength would be. So as we can see here, we've got a volume profile pull. This entire range, as I've just explained to you, we lost that. We're back into it. Now for me, if I get the 30-minute chart up, you can see here, let's look at this. We've got a little bit of a mini range here before we lost that range there. So we've got this area here. So for me, a sign of strength for me for Bitcoin to climb higher from here, which basically confirms that the bottom's in here, would be to come up to this point here and reclaim this value area low of this previous range. Previous range here, value area low here. If we can reclaim that at 112,350 here, that for me then will be a sign of strength. So we need to get above this POC. Then we're faced with this value area low. And that for me, there's various levels as well that we can look at of resistance before we even get to that. But for me, what we can see here straight away of why we've just rejected there, we've got the most local high, this swing high before we fell out of our backsides, anchored VWAP here, resistance, 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 and of course we've just hit a bit of resistance there. So you've got a nice area of confluence around here for a nice short. Perfect. And then what we've got just above us, we've then got another area of resistance to get through, which to be honest is anywhere. Well, let's have a look. What is that zone there? So we go from there to there. Yeah, it's only a 1.2% zone. So you got another area of resistance here as well from here to here. What's this showing us? This is the value area high of this whole range. Don't forget, value area low, fair price to buy, long, value area high, fair price to short or take profit. And then you've got the fair price of the point of control here, which is where most people are taking profits anyway. So for me, two areas that I'm interested in, We could build cases for a couple of them. We've actually got a short out at the moment for the community. But if we're looking here, if we take the Fibonacci pool from here, what we've got is we've got the platinum pocket 78675, and the 7.5 is crossing perfectly with the value area high here. So you can see on the 4 hour, it's quite significant. So yeah, lots of easy areas to trade because people are like, oh, Bitcoin's fallen out of its backside. Who flipping cares? If we've got price action and movement, we can trade this bad boy. Obviously, we've got our long-term spot hold where we're investing. This is where we're trading the markets each and every day. It's so flipping straightforward if you know what you're doing. So straightforward, which is why I loved it last night. We had a sporadic sell-off while we were on the coaching call. And I was like, guys, babe, bring the dinner in. Let me eat my tea here. I had a beer in one hand, my curry in the other. We were trading live with the mentees, and it was just flipping brilliant, navigating through the market. Because it's just another day at the office for us. We just love it. It's so easy to print money. It's unbelievable. So anyway, there's the first point of resistance that we've hit. The next one is that POC. So there's a few shorts for you there, not financial advice, but that's what I'll be looking at. Then you've obviously got the volume area low here, the value area high here, this space here. So just some great shorts for you to look at. Right, let's move over to what we did have on Ethereum here. Let me get Ethereum up. We've got a nice bounce on Ethereum. Notice, by the way, that we're catching the bottoms. Notice. Now, this isn't normal in the trading space. This isn't normal. This is not normal whatsoever. But notice, let me move these out of the way, that we're catching the bottoms. So first of all, we caught 108. There, look. We had areas of confluence. We had a weekly level, monthly level, weekly MPOC, daily level. Smash through that. But we know it doesn't matter if it smashes through it. It doesn't matter if it deviates through it. What matters is, do we reclaim it? That's what we're looking for. So we could see there was reasons for it coming down here. This anchored VWAP has been taken all the way from down here at this pivotal low here. And as you come up to here, what we've got in this zone, I'll show you three major coins that are popular in the world at the moment, how we caught the bottoms of all of them within our zones. We lost these levels, but then we reclaimed them. Why did we lose them? Well, we knew that we were coming down to the 786 like I've shown you, this liquidity here. Once we'd captured that, tapped the 786, of course, then we reclaim these levels again. Easy. So we caught the bottom on Bitcoin here, which was nice within our zone. Ethereum, we can see here, we caught the bottom with that. We had low set there. We've got a bit of a range going on here. Let me get rid of the range so you can see. Where is it? Perfect. Let's get that up there. Let's get rid of the fib. You can see here, look, we were looking to tap that liquidity. We actually just front run the liquidity, but we can see a tweezer bottom here. Nice reversal just here. Low, came down for the low, didn't quite tap it. Unfinished business for me, but you can see our zone here caught it perfectly. And what did we get? We got a beautiful 5.7% move. This is what we're doing day in, day out, people. Nice and easy. That's what we caught last night on the charting chat, the coaching call. Another one was a perfect one. This one's one of my favorites. Teo's very popular around the world at the moment. Very popular. We've actually got we're coming into a short area that I'm going to go over on here. That's an area that I'm interested in. But we caught this perfect as well. Let me talk you through. As you can see, yet another zone just here. Another zone that we put out into the community, into our Discord group, long before time, days before this even happened, because we know the levels to set to give us the magnets that we need in order to drive. Basically, with trading, what you want to be looking at is looking at areas where the price is going to be magnetized towards it. And those areas are areas of volume. If you can find great areas of volume, what that's going to do, it's going to magnetize the price. How can we predict these bottoms? Easy. Find the levels that need to be tapped, mark them out, set yourself a dollar cost average zone, a DCA zone, and just go for gold. Let's go for gold. So let's get rid of the actual trade setup. Let me get rid of the... Here we go. Let's get rid of the boxes. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. So what can we see here? As you can see, Simon entry. As I do more of these lives, I'll start bringing up my live trading account and you'll be able to see the trades that I'm in. I've cashed out of this one now, so I'm not going to do that today. But we caught the bottom. Look where we entered. This was live. Simon entry there. The mentees followed me. They don't have to. It's not financial advice. But they see what I'm up to. And obviously they start to follow. Caught the bottom to the dollar. Why? Why did we catch the bottom? Let me start to remove some of these lines. There. What we had here was a 75786 value area low. So that area for me was an area that I'd be interested in. Why? Because I knew that we'd get a bounce here. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. What we had was a monthly point of control. Monthly point of control on here. That gives us confidence that we're going to get a bounce on there anyway, because it's always an area. It's a month's worth of data, a volume that's been traded, that's sitting there prime. Naked means it's not been tapped yet. It's untapped. It's exclusive. It's full of potency for a bounce. So we knew that we'd get a bounce there. Not only that, the monthly VWAP was also on the approach as well. We can see that. It's higher since. So we can see the monthly VWAP. It's all about the volume. If you can locate where the volume is, that's where you're going to get a reaction. Why? If there's an influx of volume, what does that mean? It means that that's probably 90% of traders that have got the direction wrong, which is why when it hits this particular point, there's a lot of activity around here. Most traders are failing. Most traders are just happy to get out at break even. So we can see here, we've got a nice bounce on the monthly MPOC, the nice bounce on the monthly VWAP, and a gorgeous, lovely 7.5 Fibonacci from low to high, which is given us our nice bounce here. We caught the bottom on 3 coins, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Teo. Easy work, easy work. And you'll never get any arrogance out of us. We know we're good, but you're never going to get any arrogance out of us. What you're going to get is you're going to get facts and figures. Because we know what we're doing. This is just another day in the office. Now, I was hoping that we'd get a little bit of a tap of this value area low, which would have been nice. Another thing that we did, we reclaimed that vector candle there on the 4 hour, which is nice. Banker's candle. So that was reclaimed. There's a lot of finished business here, which is fine. But now what we've done is we've gone from one end of the trade to the other. So let's get rid of this. Perfect. So what we've got is we've got a rotation of this particular value here. So we can see we're just trading like that. We're just ranging like that. Just ranging. Up to here, value area high, down to the pot, up to the value area high, through the pot, down to the value area low, more or less, back up. What have we done since last night? We called this move. Let's look at what it is. It is a beautiful 15.5% move, 15.4% move on Teo from one trade. It took us 5 minutes to plot the trade, and here we are. And also we can see from the cipher, we can see money flow coming up. Let's see if when we approach that point, whether we could have actually seen any bullish divergences. Let's have a look. Slightly on the 5 minute, around this bounce here, what gave us the confidence to pull the trigger? I mean, it's only a small one, but it's worth mentioning. What you can see a low, and you can see a lower low on price. On the cipher, which is monitoring order flow and the momentum, we can see a slight increase. So there is a slight bullish divergence. At the time on EXO charts, there weren't any hidden CVD absorption, any divergences that were saying anything on the CVD. But that's fine because we've got this cipher here anyway, market cipher, which is going to tell us the money flow. So we can see a slight divergence. And then what we can start to see on the 5 minute, as the price begins to react and we've got a slight divergence, we can also start to see here as well the money flow. The money flow starts to then enter into the market. And as you can see, it's increased significantly since. So we've got that bounce. We create a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, higher highs. We break market structure here, just here. And then what you can see, we've come down to here. We've hit market structure, broke through it, retested the pot, and we're off to the races. But what's encouraged us in this is we can see the money flow start to increase. Negative money flow, positive money flow. So it's nice for us. Very, very nice for us. So what's next? That's the question. That's the title of the video. What is next? Well, I'm going to show you. let's look at what's next. So what's next for Bitcoin? I've already told you, we need to reclaim that value area high. But for me, I see potential shorts on Tau. So I'm going to look for a short right now for me to trade, and I'll share it with you. So what we've got, let's look for some higher levels. So we can see we're approaching the value area high on this particular asset. Let's get the volume up so we can monitor the volume nodes as well, because that's quite important to us. You can see the volume's tapered off. There's not a lot of volume that's trading around this area here. We've got the value here, this 70% zone here, but then above it, volume starts to get a little bit scarce. So let's have a look. For me, let's see if we've got any higher term time frame levels on the monthly, the weekly, the daily. Nothing as yet. Weekly. Thing is, I like on this weekly. So let's go back to the 4 hour and let's just look at something here. So as we can see, we've got this range here. Let me get rid of some of these. Get rid of that one. What we've got in this particular range here, look. Let's focus on this 4 hour range we've got here. What we can see is we're looking at money flow. As we start to work our way through this, we're looking at money flow. So we could look at money flow on the market cipher here. So what we can see, we've got trending. That's fine. Remember that 80% of the time in the market, we are trading sideways in a range, and then 20% of the time we're trending up or down. I'll always remind you of that. But in this particular range, are we going to break out of this range for new local highs, or are we going to come back down to do a full rotation into this range, back down to these lows to take some of these lows of liquidity? Well, what we can see here is we can see as we're starting to come to the end of this particular range, let me just update this volume profile. I'm looking at money flow. What's money flow saying? So we can see the volume here horizontally. Money flow, ebbs and flows. It's in just there, back up just there. We lose it a little bit, but what we can see is the money flow is actually starting to increase. It's actually starting to increase. So that's what's interesting about this. I can see the VWAP starting to increase. I can see there's a green dot there. I can also see the money flow making higher highs, slightly above there. So we've got high, high, high above there. So let's have a look. Let's have a look to see what we can see. So that's a high there, a high there, a decrease, this is good. This is actually giving us a slight bearish divergence on this, actually, because what we can see as we're coming up to these highs on the momentum waves just here, we're not really following through. Money flow is entering the asset, which is fine, but what we can see, we can start to see lower highs. So that tells me if we begin to then make a higher high to take some of this liquidity up here, imagine if we did that, but this is making lower highs on here. It's a sign that the indicator is not backing up. The momentum wave is not backing up the move, which is fine. So let's find some higher time frame levels here. Let's have a look. So we've got any on the daily? No, we've just broken that weekly. Straight through it. Fine. Any daily horizontals? Perfect. So that looks to me as though it's front run, actually. Let's have a look on here. Has it front run? Not been tapped. So we've got a daily up here, which is nice. Perfect. Back to the 4 hour. Let's see if we've got any monthly, weekly, dailies on the MPOX, naked point of controls. We're at the end of the month. So this is going to be, I would say, this is going to be a significant point of support. I'm going to mark that down. So we're literally on the last day of the month here. So we've got monthly MPOC that lines up with this range anyway, because it spent most of its time this month in that range. See if we've got any weeklies. Only this developing one here, which is no good. So have we got any dailies? Are you going to treat us with a nice daily MPOC? No, you're not. So all we've got here is a daily level and potentially some fibs. So let's go out to the daily and see if we can get any resistance levels here. Let's have a look. anchored VWAP from the high. No. Let's take a complete pull of this whole lot, see where the volume is. You've got a value area high here as well. You see you've got a value area high of this whole range here. So you are hitting resistance. Because we're to the top of this, we need to be careful. You can't just short anything. One thing I'm going to do is take a fib pull from, let's just take it from the very, very bottom of here to the top of there. Not the most healthy and beautiful of fib pulls, to be honest, but yeah, I don't like that. So what I'm going to look at instead is this daily range here. So let me take a bit of a pull of this here. That's the range that we're in. So we've gone above that, gone above that. Okay, so there's not a lot of levels of resistance apart from, it's a nice tricky one for us because you can't just short it. You've got to confirm that that is where the price is going to go first. So let's put a 0.25 channel on this, which I like to have a look at. So we've got the significant high there, significant low here. Ignore this emotional wick. We're not counting that. We're not bothered about that. So for me, let's see. I'm looking for an SFP around this area here. Let's have a look. So I think there's two areas for us. We've got this area here on this daily. Let's have a look. So if we go from this daily, I think for me, what I'm going to be looking at is anywhere from here to here is going to be significant for me. So I'm going to be monitoring order flow like a hawk to see if we get a rejection, because we've got several swing failure pattern potentials here, because you've got this liquidity here that we're fast approaching. We've got this liquidity here that we're fast approaching. But what you've got is you've got that big daddy there up at 489, call it 490, 490 here, 490 here. So you've got that liquidity there that is worth taking. You've got that liquidity there that is worth taking, and that's down at 479. So 490, call it 480 there. And then, of course, this daily here with this load of liquidity here at 462. So for me, they're the areas that I'm interested in. Normally, it's quite straightforward, but because we're approaching these levels with a little bit of strength on the daily, money flow's increasing. We can see on the daily that the momentum wave is actually backing up the move. So we've got a high here, level high here, level high here. So on the daily, it's looking healthy, an increase in money flow. So there is a potential. This is why you've got to be careful on this. There's a potential short here. We're going to have to see what reaction we get off the daily and this liquidity, like I just explained, that liquidity there, and then the pivotal high there. And then we've got to look at if we do break through that, which we could, which money flow is saying that it's entering the asset. You could take that and start to make new highs. So for me, at this moment, the only bit of interest in terms of area that I'm interested in is this, the area of interest here. That is what I'm interested in, this here. So I'm going to see how it reacts off the daily, try and get a little scalp short on that. Then, you know, what could potentially happen is you come up to this area here, you hit the daily, you get a nice little scalp, reclaims, it bounces off the value area high here, and then we make our way up for those liquidity sweeps of the swing failure patterns on these highs. But if it continues to make higher lows, then what we're doing is we're starting to create a bit of an ascending channel. Do you know what I mean? A bit of a compression pattern where we're smothering resistance there. We pop through. So you might get scalp there, SFP there, you know, little scalp, little SFPs at these particular levels. Let's get it all on the screen here. Let's have a look. This is how the market works. So you will be able to get a nice little SFP there. Nice. A nice SFP there. These highs, nice. Nice SFP there. This high, nice. Finally get this one, nice. Then it falls back and you think, boom, short territory. You've got to be a little bit careful though, because if it continues to make higher lows, like I say, and we're smothering resistance here and we start to compress, it's going to shoot through, retest, and then bomb. We're off to the races. So let's keep an eye on that. See what happens. But exciting, hey? There's money to be made even on these little swing shorts here. Sorry, these swing failure patterns on these shorts. There's money to be made. So let's see what we do. Hope you've enjoyed it. That's what I see happening next for Teo. Very, very strong coin at the moment. I know this as well because we've tested it against BTC. You can see Teo right now, yeah, it's holding strong against BTC, which is why when BTC is making pullbacks, etc., Teo is holding strong. Teo's holding strong, holding support. So very encouraging, very strong coin at the moment. Liking trading it. I think I like the reason why I like trading it at the moment is because it's just very, very predictable. Very predictable. You know it's going to respect levels. You know it's going to respect levels, and it's just a really, really nice coin to trade. So which is why I say approach this shorting area with tentatively, because it's showing signs of strength, and because you can see on the money flow it's increasing. You know, we could get a little bit of a pump here. So let's see how it reacts against these resistance levels here, and then of course we can start to see where we're going from there. So if you've enjoyed this, please do like, please do subscribe, please do share this, please do put a comment in. Let me know if you want me to chart any other coins. This was just a sporadic me jumping on YouTube and Facebook, giving you guys a bit of an update on what I see next, showing you what we've been up to in the last 24 hours. And if you want to watch more of these kind of things, do let me know. And also subscribe, like, and comment. Like I say, we need all the support we can get with this social media stuff. And I love what I do. I love coming on like this. Something I'm going to be doing a lot more regularly on YouTube because I really enjoy it. It'd be amazing if I could get a bit of an audience as well. You guys can put in the comments what you'd like me to do, what you'd like me to say. You might say, boom, Si, can you trade BNB? Can you trade Link? Can you trade flipping Ethereum for me? Can you trade Casper? Can you trade Sol? I love this stuff. I'll actually find trades for myself, and you guys can take note of the technical analysis and how my brain works and stuff like that. As the more I do these as well, the more articulate I'll get, and I'll be able to get in my flow with it. But I want to try and do these, most days, and we can make money together. We can find some trades. It's going to be good. So yeah, have a great day. Have a great weekend. I'll speak to you soon.